Well, thank you. And I would like to, first, before I begin my speech and my intermediate here, to thank Mark, my dear friend Mark. We did a lot together with ICD, with our the Arabic Culture House, which really appreciated. And I would like to thank also the team of the ICD for putting really a great event. So thank you very much. And I think, to give me the time to exchange ideas and to present the economic situation and investment opportunity in the state of Qatar, and most importantly, Qatar Vision 2030, as we just have seen, which I can say it's based into 4 pillars. This is when the government decided in 2007 that we would like to put a roadmap for our country. So we put the vision, because we are really a country which is, since more than 50 years, based on their economy in the oil and the gas. But all of us knows that these will be in one day already finished. So the government says we would like to make sure that we have, as in the title, a sustainable business and economic development for the country, that for our future generation, they will witness the similar what we are witnessing in our country, in Qatar. So in 2007, 2008, the government put the Vision 2030, which based into 4 pillars: economic, social, human development, and environmental and development. And since we're speaking here about economy and economic development investment, so I will concentrate into this part. So it's based into, again, the economic and investment based into 2 pillars. One of them is transforming itself into a knowledge-based economy, means that we will concentrate into education, research, as we have seen that the government put 2.7% of the GDP in research, such as now, as well known as the AI, which the artificial intelligence, and the digitalization, which Germany also do, and they put in their plan. So this is one of the things that the government is putting within its base for the 2030 vision. The second thing is really investing whatever extra income that we are getting to a promising or a strong economy, such as in Germany. In Germany, we have already around 25 billion euro investment into the big companies here in Germany. Just to give you a glance, we have about 17% Qatar own of Volkswagen. Siemens, we own about 7 to 10%. Also in Deutsche Bank and Hobocleaf, and other companies, big companies in here in Germany. Because we believed in German economy, that's why the government 20 years ago, they decide in 2006, 2007 to invest into the German economy, but not only in Germany, we look into everywhere, even in Asia, in Africa, in other countries in Europe, and also in America. And the idea is the goal which we put, and that's very important, that we said, our government put a goal by 2030, whatever income that Qatar is getting from oil and gas, for example, gas, Qatar is the largest exporter of LNG. LNG, does anyone knows what is LNG? Anyone in gas? Yes, liquid to natural gas. So the idea is what we do in Qatar, this is a new terminology, came only in 94 or 95. Before everybody were exporting gas through pipeline, but not through transferring the gas to liquid, and then you ship it through the ship, and then later on you export it to anywhere. And this is what Qatar have done by having this idea, and now we became number 1 in the world in exporting the LNG, which we have already 77 million ton of LNG. Even in Germany, we are exporting to Germany, but now we are again working with the German government to export more through the new idea of diversifying their income, or their importation of gas, because most of the gas coming to Germany is coming really from Russia. Now they are looking to other part, and one of the discussion that we are having with the German government in this regard. Just then saying this means, again, I want to say by 2030, the government says whatever from the investment we're having abroad, we would like to have similarity to the income that we are getting from oil and gas. And this is to make sure that after 2030, this will increase. That means for our future generation, they will witness the same, quality of economy that we have in Qatar. I would try to skip some of the point here just to give you more time later on for Q&A, which I think could be maybe in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Of course, the government have made also attraction for investment from outside. So we did a lot of changes in our procedures to attract more foreign investment into Qatar by giving them 100% ownership, by giving them a very cheaper price in terms of landing the land itself. The tax rate are very minimal, and a lot of attraction, because also we created some in the last 2 years something called the free zone, which is already well known in some other area of the world. And also we try to make the infrastructure ready for them. So we have one of the largest port now in the Middle East, which is Hamad Port. Plus we have one of the largest Hamad airport. Anybody fly with Qatar Airways? Anybody? Good. So we have some customers here. It's very good. And just we have a good news that we're going to increase our trip to Berlin. It will be double daily. Now it's one time, but we will. We fly to Germany about 35 flights per week. 35. We fly to Munich and double daily, to Frankfurt double daily, in Berlin one time, but we will make it also double daily. But now the good news, starting from 2020, we already signed with EU that we will have open, what they call open sky, that we will have unlimited number of Qatar Airways stop by. So we will have also to Düsseldorf, hopefully to Bonn, and also to Hamburg. This is our target in the coming month and coming years, inshallah. Because we believe in the German market and the German also, attractions for the tourists. Because the German like also, hopefully also to go to Uzbekistan. They love. I think last year we got increase from the tourists to coming to Qatar, especially through the cruise line, which was really something that we were very happy working with a different companies such as TUI and FTI and other company who are in charge of the tourists here in Germany. So, as I said, we made more attractions for the foreign investor. We tell them that you can have Qatar as a hub for the Middle East because of the location. Have you seen in the video? We are very close by. To Iraq, we are very close. We signed already a free trade treaty with Iraq, so company can enjoy the relationship that we already exist between Qatar and Iraq. And Iraq now is really booming also. As Qatar, we have seen booming. I think what is needed in Iraq now more even what is needed in Qatar. So we say to the company, they can come also, open their headquarters in Qatar, and then they can exchange also with Iraq and other. Of course, the gross domestic product, just to tell you how strong is the economy in Qatar. We in 2018, our GDP, it was I want just to give you the correct number. I'm trying just to look at it. Okay, the GDP reached about $222 billion in 2018, and we are expecting a growth of 2.7 in 2019, which this will lead us to around $232 billion, the total GDP in Qatar in 2019. Although we had also some other issues with our neighbor. I think always when you have your neighbor, sometimes jealousy is there. So we got some issues with our neighbor, but we always see, and this is also advice to all of you, I think, if you have some crisis, you can transfer it to become something really very positive to you. So this is what we did in Qatar. We transfer this to become very positive. We depend more within our internal production. So just to give you one example, in dairy product, we were importing 80% from outside, especially from our neighbor, and we are producing only 20%. Now we are producing around 90% in the last 2 years. And I think by end of this year, we will start even exporting. So it helped this is will, for what they call the food security to your country, and also it help to your economy and the sustainable of your economy. So really, this is one thing. And second thing, we have done a diversity from our importation and exportation. So we created a new partners. We look to many partners, different partners than the one we had before. Just saying also something which regarding, since we are now during the ITB, so Qatar have since almost 1 year have eliminated visa requirement for about 80 citizenship. So you can go to directly to the Doha port, airport, and you can get to the country with, and anybody want to look at it is in the website of our embassy, but also the website of our foreign ministry and also our tourist board. So it shows you which countries, but more around 80 countries, and this will increase also in the coming month and coming years. So this is because Qatar is also trying to increase the attraction for the tourists, and just to tell you one highlight here, Qatar plans to increase the number of hotel rooms from about 30,000 hotel rooms now existing to 50,000 in 2022, in addition to around 45,000 temporary rooms, which will be with a cruise line ship. This is the requirement from the FIFA. The FIFA require around, for the World Cup 2022, around 95,000. So this is how we met the FIFA requirement. And the investment in the tourism sector has reached almost 17 billion US dollar in the last years, and also in the coming years. Of course, in the preparation for 2022 World Cup, the government of State Qatar plans to spend about more than 200 billion dollar, which started already since maybe 2016, but this will the peak, and it will finish by 2022. And just to give you an example, I don't want to go more in detail in that, but just to give you an example, why Qatar, since we put a vision in 2007, and then we said we want to reach this vision by 2030. Why we are hosting big event? The sport event, and thanks to Mark, he highlighted that I was in the sport for some years. So the idea behind hosting big event is really you use the event as a motor to speed up your goals or your objectives. Because in a sport, there is always a great saying. It says you can move a mountain, but you cannot change the day of the opening ceremony. So now, since many years, now we know that the opening ceremony of the World Cup FIFA 2022, it will be 21st of November 2022. So means all the project has to be finished before that, because you cannot invite the guests to your house and your house is not ready. So you need to really make sure that you prepare everything. And also the ministers who are sleeping, sometimes we have some ministers are, they have, the files in their table, but always they will complain. We don't have budget. This is not anymore exist, because you have already like a team working around all the project necessary for the World Cup. So to make sure that anybody have some obstacles, they will have to go to this committee to finish it. So the railway, just to give you an example, which we have a German company who done for us the planning and also the digging for all of our underground, supposed to finish by 2021. It finished next month, we're going to open it. Most of the stadium, we have already opened 1 and 2 will be finished this year. Also the hotel infrastructure and all other element infrastructure ready is already under the way, and all are ahead of schedule. So that's why we always try to use some events such as the big events, such as the sport event, to speed up the process. And this is not something that Qatar invented. This is many countries, even when they bid for the Olympic Games, the idea really is to upgrade all what they have in their country. Because when you are hosting a sport event, you are not really only testing the sport venue, but you are testing the whole country. So that's the main point. If people will raise a question, why Qatar is bidding for big event. Even this year, we're going to have the World Championship actually for athletic. So everybody is invited who is interested of athletic. I saw that the ICD team looking for their watch, so I will try to close up very soon. So Qatar Airways, as I just highlighted very quickly, they fly currently to 173 destinations. By 2022, they will reach 200 destination. Our airport last year they crossed 37 million passenger. Imagine Qatar. Here I think this presentation was a little bit old. Now we are around 3 million. So imagine is almost more than 10 times the population of Qatar crossed the Hamad airport. So but by 2022 we will have around 50 million passengers that will be crossing of Hamad airport in 2022. As I just highlighted, the economic indicator that shows the GDP of Qatar is really increasing, and thanks to all the plan that we already have. And I just want to just say one thing also regarding also the investment opportunity. We announced that by 2023, and I will close up by this, by 2023, we will increase our investment opportunity from our investment here in Germany from 25 billion euro, which currently we have, to 35 billion euro. This 10 billion euro, which we already now processing, it will go to the small, to the medium enterprise here in Germany, which they call them the Mittelstand. Mittelstand here in Germany, in English, is like we say the backbone. So it's really is the backbone of the German economy, which represent around 80%. So Qatar decide in the last 6 months that we will invest another 10 billion euro in the coming 5 years, but we will concentrate this time not only in the big company as I indicated earlier, but we will concentrate into the Mittelstand or the small to medium enterprise. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your kind attention, and I hope I have given you a little bit of a glimpse of the Qatar investment and economy, and also sustainable economy. And I'm open to any question. Thank you very much.
The developments in Qatar. So really very insightful speech, and we learned a lot. Maybe I'll break the rules and give my colleague a chance first to ask a question.
Yeah, I have a question for you because, as you know, we talked a small time ago, since we were related to sports and diplomacy and politics, Remember when I told you
Yes.
I'm a relative of Samaran?
Yes.
So, I am fascinated for one question. I am happy regarding all the controversy that when Qatar was announced. I am happy that at least every continent, every country had the chance to organize something. Always it has been the same countries and the same continent. But regarding what happened, for example, in Brazil and other places, taking an example, for example, when we organized in Barcelona the Olympics, which kind of plan regarding infrastructure, do you have? Which plans for the future do you have for the infrastructure after the World Cup? Because, for example, in Brazil, some of the hotels, some of the stadiums are like, and even in Pekin, they are abandoned. Do you have any plans for the future to recycle them, to use them somehow?
Thank you very much. And I guess since you are relative Samaran, so you support Barcelona. So congratulations, you advance. I support Real Madrid, but unfortunately, Real Madrid and Paris Saint-Germain did not do well this time. But I'm behind now Bayern Munich and of course Barcelona. They are playing actually in the 13th against Liverpool. Who's with Bayern Munich? Anybody supporting Bayern Munich? No, huh? Okay. At least we got 3. Okay. It's a very good question. This is something always are something very important in sport, which are the legacy behind any event. Because there is a lot of not good experience. Montreal in 1978, Athens in 2004, and some others, which they had what they call the big or the white elephant. After the event, then you are having the stadium or the facility with nothing to do about. So Qatar put this in mind from the beginning. So what we say we begin with the end in our mind. So each of these stadium have already a legacy mode, means what will be after the game. Like, just to give you an example, about 4 of the stadium, because of the requirement of the FIFA, we make them 45,000. But for Qatar, as you have seen, we are 3 million. We will not need this stadium with this capacity. All of these stadium, the one which I mentioned, 4 of them or 5, are going to clubs already, because the club had a stadium but was like 50, 60 years old. So now these either demolished or renovated or was expanded. So all of these 4 stadiums I mentioned, it will be lower graded or downgraded from 45 to 20,000. So that's one. And the seats will be donated to other country. And we did this in the past. Personally, I was involved in one of them. We did it to Asmara Stadium. Anybody from Eritrea here? No one? Asmara Stadium, the main stadium, we did a renovation for it. And all the seats, if you see it now in Asmara, it's all from a past stadium in Qatar. So this is one example. Other example, one of the stadium completely, and this is for the first time, will be donated with coordination with FIFA to one country. And in addition to that, as you said, we have now 30,000 room hotel, it will be 50. So the government is giving so much attention in the last 5 years and in the coming 4 years to have a plan for touristic destination, to make Qatar as a hub. And since we have already 37 million customers going across Hamad airport, and we will reach 50. So if you get only 4% of them, it will be more than enough. So that's the plan now. That's why we made 80 citizen without visa. So there is already a plan going on, and this is, I think Barcelona is a good example. In '93, when Samaranch had the idea to bring the Olympic Games to Barcelona, if you are from there, you are young now, but the people who were, how Barcelona was there before and how it is. 100% transferred Barcelona to be really a touristic destination after the 1993. So we take a good model like Barcelona. I don't want to name others, but not like other not good models. Thank you. Please.
Your Excellency, thank you very much for your presentation. My question was, since I'm a football fan, like all the other guys, so my question was regarding Qatar, which will be hosting in 2022, is that Qatar is a Muslim Islamic country, Muslim majority. What will be the condition for the people coming from Western, since football was mostly played in countries where democracy believe in Western countries and non-Muslims believers? So what will be the situation for them regarding the democracy they want and they need, and how will be the opening ceremony? Which is not a very serious question, but how would you anticipate an opening ceremony in Qatar with their policy and the way they believe in human rights and women's rights and men's rights?
Okay. Well, we believe in all the policy that you mentioned, but of course we have our own culture and our own heritage. So that's why we combine this. And for Qatar, hosting big event, it's not something new. Now, every year we are hosting around 50 international events. Now, this year, we're going to host the 3rd largest sport event in the world. Number 1 event in the world is the Olympic. The second one is the World Cup for football. The 3rd one is athletic. So for athletic, is also we have more than 2 billion people watching, and also more than, I think, more than 3,000 or 4,000 athletes they will be in Qatar. This is September, October this year. So we have already are customized to this event, and also to the spectator are coming from different nation and different country. And this is since, if I want to say, 93 or 92, December 92, when Qatar started the first international event. So this is not something that we will, of course, there is some regulation that need to be adopted. Like if you will ask, for example, for alcohol, Qatar already have alcohol, but have in certain area, like in hotels, in some restaurants, and so. But you are not allowed, like even now in the last European Championship, they avoid, because of the problem happened like in France, in Lyon, they avoid alcohol around the stadiums. So similar now regulations done by the European Federation. So Qatar is putting these kind of regulation just to make sure that everybody will come and enjoy. But if I want to say something which is very important, this will be a unique World Cup, because normally it is we put it in this word. It's a World Cup in the model of Olympics, because Olympics you only host it in one city. It's same thing. Qatar is barely one city, because if you speak about 70 kilometers from one stadium to the other, so you can watch more than one game in one day. You can see any of the team. In the past, no. Like if I give example, just recently in Russia, you have to fly 2 hours or 3 hours to go from one group to another group. You have to change the hotel, you have to take airlines. This does not exist. This will not happen in Qatar. So you will have really a very nice experience. You will not have to change your hotel as a spectator, but also as athlete, which is something only the athlete they witness during the Olympic Games, because they stay in what is called the Olympic Village. Please, any more questions? Yes, brother, please.
Yeah, you have mentioned that there are some issues in neighboring countries. Please, could you highlight a little bit some of the issues?
Okay, I was hoping not to speak too much about politics, but I will touch base a little bit. Well, we had some blockade about 2 years ago, now almost 2 years ago, with our neighbor. And this blockade happened, unfortunately, without any further notice. I mean, you can have disagreement between countries, but you will not close your border. I mean, I just give an example. Macron decided not to go to the Munich Security Conference just 3 days before, and he had some disagreement between France and Germany in some things, which something also major. But he said, no, he will not close the border and will not block, and this is what will happen to Qatar. If you disagree, I mean, even brothers in one house, they will have differences, but they should not close the door from each other. They should sit and they discuss. And this is what Qatar said to our neighbors. We said we open from day one. If we made mistakes, we will be more than happy, but you have to come with evidence. You cannot just claim, or one of the requests they say, well, you have to close Al Jazeera. I mean, now everybody can watch anything through his mobile. I mean, you don't need a national broadcaster to broadcast anything. But so it's imagine like, Germany goes to UK and says, well, you're going out to Brexit. We want you also to close BBC. This will not be something visible, So this is similar to the request we got. So that's why we say, even until now, we say our unity or our strength is in our unity. When we are together, we will be stronger. But we need to solve if there is anything in the table. We sit together and we discuss, and we are open to anything. I want to make it politically very short, so I will not go into detail. Please.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I want to ask about, do you have any plan for sign any trade, business trade with Afghanistan?
Very good question. Okay, with Afghanistan government, for us, and since we don't have media, Mark, we don't have media here, huh? Okay, good. With Afghanistan, we have a very good relationship. And even we got a request to open our embassy in Afghanistan, and even to open our airline. So we already agreed. And even we sent our agreement to our brothers in Afghanistan. This was almost more than 1 year. But until now, we did not get the reply. It's because maybe there is some still issues going on between, the other group which are there, which Qatar try also to solve the issue between the American and the Taliban, and the request of the American, by the way. Yeah? So the American asked us, and this is one of the things that our also, neighbor, they claim, they say, well, you have relation with Taliban. Okay, relation with Taliban, we had it because the American sent us official letter saying, can you help us? Because we've been there for 16 years, we have big issues. Can you bring Taliban to Doha? We will sit with them. And now, as we're talking, they are there in Doha discussing the American and Taliban to try to find a solution or the way forward. So we are more than happy to open our embassy in Afghanistan. I think Afghanistan is a very promising country. I was in the Green Week, not this year, even last year. I told your ambassador, I was very surprised to see a very beautiful za'faran from Afghanistan. I did not know, but now they told me you already bypass, you have gone beyond or above Iran in the production of za'faran. So I'm using in all my coffee. Arabic coffee, we use a lot of za'faran. So I'm using Afghanistan za'faran.
On that note, I think we do need to express our sincere gratitude to the ambassador.